today, I want to share 3 stories from my life. Nothing extraordinary, just 3 simple stories. Story 1, Connecting the Dots. The first story is about connecting the dots. I dropped out of Reed College after the first 6 months, but I didn't disappear right away. For about 18 months, I continued attending some classes as a drop-in student before finally leaving for good. So why did I drop out? To understand that, the story actually begins before I was even born. My biological mother was a young, unmarried graduate student. She decided to put me up for adoption, but she had one strong condition. She wanted me to be adopted by college graduates. Everything had already been arranged. A lawyer and his wife were ready to adopt me the moment I was born, but at the last minute, they changed their minds. They decided they wanted a girl instead. So my parents, who were on a waiting list, received a phone call in the middle of the night. The voice on the phone said, "We have a newborn baby boy. Do you want him?" Without hesitation, they replied, "Of course." Later, my biological mother discovered that my adoptive mother had never graduated from college, and my father had never even finished high school. Because of that, she refused to sign the final adoption papers. But a few months later, she changed her mind after my parents promised her something important. That one day, I would go to college. And that promise became the beginning of my journey. 17 years later, I did go to college. But I made a naive decision. I chose a university that was almost as expensive as Stanford. My parents were working-class people, and all the savings they had built over their entire lives were now going toward my tuition. After 6 months, I began to realize something. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And I had no idea how college was supposed to help me figure it out. Yet there I was, spending all the money my parents had saved for decades. So I made a difficult decision. I dropped out, trusting that somehow things would work out. At that moment, it felt terrifying. But looking back now, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. Once I dropped out, I stopped attending the required classes that didn't interest me. Instead, I started exploring the classes that truly sparked my curiosity. Life wasn't easy during that time. I didn't have a dorm room, so I slept on the floors of my friends' rooms. I collected and returned Coke bottles for 5 cents each just to buy food. And every Sunday night, I walked 7 miles across town to get one good meal at the Hare Krishna temple. And strangely enough, I loved it, because many of the things I discovered simply by following my curiosity and intuition later became incredibly valuable. Let me give you one example. At that time, Reed College offered what was probably the best calligraphy course in the country. Every poster on campus, every label on every drawer, everything was beautifully handwritten. Since I had dropped out and wasn't required to take regular classes anymore, I decided to attend the calligraphy class. There, I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about the spacing between letters, and about the delicate art of typography. It was beautiful, it was historical, and it was artistically subtle in a way that science alone could never explain. I found it fascinating. At the time, it seemed completely useless. There was no practical application for it in my life. But 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back. We built everything we had learned about typography into the Mac, and it became the first computer with beautiful fonts and elegant typography. If I had never dropped out of college, I would have never taken that calligraphy class. And if I had never taken that class, personal computers might never have had the beautiful typography they have today. Since Windows later copied the Mac, it's very possible that no personal computer would have it at all. Of course, when I was in college, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward. But 10 years later, looking back, the connection became incredibly clear. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust.